Ravens flock. The flock rundown is the place to be. My man Ryan has been a lifelong Ravens fan since he was born. So I'm telling you now, it's about to go down. The podcast, the flock rundown. Ravens, baby. Nothing gets better than waking up and wondering how high we can fly. Tune in.
Motionless brainwaves attempt to swim their way to sense, can't tame the untamed.
Appreciate you, Ray. What's up, Ravens fans? My name is Ryan, and welcome back to another episode of the Flock Rundown. So the Ravens just lost to the Browns 33-31. Bad loss. Before we get into the game, shout out to Anthony Monroy, 1136. He won the giveaway. He guessed 100 total rushing yards, and the Ravens had 106. But let's get into this game. So Cleveland absolutely dominated on both sides of the ball in the trenches. I mean, that's what this game's going to come down to. Our offensive line, we lost a couple guys too. I'll go over the injuries in a second, but our offensive line could not block them. Lamar's under pressure. And then Lamar didn't make the best decisions, you know. Him throwing 2 picks, probably could have had another pick. There were some defensive holding calls that were a little suspect that went our way. But credit to the Browns, man. Their defense really showed up. And their offense was able to move the ball on our defense pretty consistently. And I'm telling you, it's because of the trenches. The offensive line was just pushing us back. We weren't able to get a ton of pressure on Watson. The middle of the field was open a lot. And they took advantage. Jerome Ford was able to run the entire game. The Browns put up 178 yards on the ground. So, I mean, that tells you right there. They beat us 178-106 in rushing. That's not normal. You know what I mean? The Ravens usually dominate these games. They usually dominate the trenches. Now, did we have many chances to win this game? Absolutely. I think we were off to an incredible start in this game because of the Kyle Hamilton pick 6 early in the game. And then Keaton Mitchell got loose on a run. By the way, Keaton Mitchell barely was in the game after that, which is crazy to me. Harbaugh was asked after the game why Keaton Mitchell didn't get more touches, and he said that's just the way the game went. Well, I disagree. I think that a guy playing that well this often, every time he touches the ball, it's a big play, needs to be involved a little bit more than, 3 touches. Had a nice lead, could have put the game away, but as the game unfolded, you could just see that Cleveland was more dominant. I mean, it is what it is. There's no other way to put it. You could break it down to, this little overthrow or this interception. The pressure was coming from their defensive front, their pass rushes, Darius Smith, Myles Garrett. Myles Garrett went off again, as usual. And then on the other side of the ball, they were moving the ball, long, sustained drives on our defense. So, shocking that we weren't able to show up in the trenches a little bit more. It's definitely concerning. And we lost some guys. Ronnie Stanley went down. Didn't look good. Looked like he was in a lot of pain. His leg got rolled up on. Clowney limped off earlier, but he came back. Zeitler limped off. We'll see what's up with that. But the Ronnie injury seems concerning. And then Marlon Humphrey is probably the most concerning. That did not look good at all. They're calling it an ankle, but every Twitter doctor says that he tore his Achilles. So we'll see. Obviously, we don't know. We don't have that information right now. But that is not good. It was a non-contact injury, just fell down. And it did look like an Achilles to me as well. So I understand why they're saying that. I'm praying that it is not an Achilles. We need Marlon Humphrey. You know, obviously, if he's out a game or two, we can survive. But the rest of the season would hurt bad, especially the same with Ronnie Stanley. Like, if this is a long-term serious injury, we were already getting manhandled in the trenches as is. We definitely don't need to be throwing backups in. So, not great. Not great game. Bad loss. The only bright side, I'd say, is the Bengals lost to the Texans as well. So Thursday night's going to be a crazy showdown. And we talked about it in the pregame, but the Ravens had an incredible chance to separate, right? To win the North almost if they would have swept this week. And now with them losing to Cleveland, Cincinnati losing, and then us playing Cincinnati on Thursday, and then the Browns and Steelers play on Sunday, this AFC North just bottled up. We're going to be in a dogfight for the rest of the year. Nothing's going to be easy. We got a really tough schedule for the rest of the year, and we're not going to run away with it. We're not going to have a stress-free, dominant rest of the season. I don't see how that happens anymore after this. you lose a game like this, and the Browns got a ton of life. You know what I mean? The Browns most likely are going to be in the playoffs. And we know how tough the Bengals are, too. So this is a dogfight just in the North, just to make the playoffs. And we're right in the thick of it. You know, we definitely have an edge. We're still first in the AFC North, but by a half game now. So, I mean, it's nothing comfortable. Just to go through the stats here, I mean, Zay, 5 for 73, led our receiving. He had a good day. Mark Andrews, 2 for 44, pretty quiet. Odell, 1 for 40. That was that big touchdown grab on the slant that he took to the house. That was an incredible moment. I was super excited, and we were up like 2 scores at that point, so I was feeling good, and then it turned around. On the ground, Lamar leads the way, 8 for 41. That is not good. Keith Mitchell, 3 carries for 34 yards. Gus Edwards, 11 carries for 24 yards, probably his worst day. But it's all a result of the Cleveland pressure. You know, I'm not blaming Gus individually. I'm just saying our line had no chance versus their D-line, and that is concerning. I know we don't play them again, but I'm concerned that a team was able to kind of manhandle us and assert their dominance in our stadium in a crucial division matchup. That is concerning. We usually do that to other teams, so the fact that it was just done to us, shout out to Cleveland, like I said, credit to them. They definitely earned this win. Could we have won? Did we throw it away a little bit? Yeah. We could have won every game that we've lost. They've all been close like this. But this was the first game that we lost where the other team, to me, really earned it. I mean, they were really dominant in the trenches, and that matters. That's the key to most football games. If you're consistently getting pressure and you're consistently blocking pressure, you're going to have a great chance. Shout out to James Prochet. He tried to help us. You know what I mean? He fumbled the punt and gave us the ball. We ended up scoring there. So big shout out to Prochet. He definitely made a play for his former team. I know he didn't want to. I'm being a little sarcastic here. Hopefully James has a long career still. And, I don't wish anything bad on the guy, but he's not in the purple and black anymore. Definitely helped us out with that fumble, but didn't matter at the end of the day. Him and his Browns got the win, and that's all that matters. So, yeah, that was a rough one. It's definitely a rough one. I'm not feeling incredibly confident, mainly because of the injuries, not because of the loss. I think that we could easily survive this loss and get rolling again. It definitely put some pressure on the Bengals game and just kind of every game moving forward here. The AFC North is going to be bottled up, and these injuries, especially the Marlon Humphrey injury, is very concerning. This defense did not look the same. They were rotating drives anyway. Marlon was coming in like every other drive with Rock Ya-Sin, and that kind of tells me that he obviously was kind of fighting through that hamstring. But if he did tear his Achilles or something serious based off that, it's just demoralizing, man. We can't lose a guy like that. So we'll be praying for the guys that went down and for a speedy recovery. And we got a quick turnaround. Bengals in our house, Thursday night football with a ton on the line. They just lost to the Texans. This is just not going to be an easy game, especially now Marlon Humphrey's out. Our secondary is going to be a lot more vulnerable against a much more talented Bengals offense. I'm not saying they're as dominant in the trenches, but those receivers are light years better than what we just faced today. And Deshaun was able to move the ball up and down the field. I'm pretty sure Joe Burrow is going to have a lot of success doing that as well. So our offense is going to have to come to play, and we're going to have to put up some points. So moving on to the Bengals, let me know what your guys' thoughts are from today's game. How are you feeling about the season moving forward? How are you feeling about the injuries? What did that injury look like to you? Just leave me your thoughts below, guys. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Flock Rundown. As always, have a beautiful rest of your day, and I'll talk to you guys next time.
Motionless brainwaves attempt to swim their way to sense, can't tame the untamed.